Good morning from Ontario, Canada. Marriages. And nothing separates like arguments. Giving in even know when you are right and not to be stubborn and dogmatic. When we are and we are enticing arguments, you've heard the saying, where a real man never hurts a woman, as they use the word real man. It means be filled with the Spirit, to have wisdom and knowledge, and be very careful that you never make a woman cry, because God counts every tear. The woman comes out of a man's rib, not from his feet, and to be walked on, not from his head, to be superior, to overpower the man, but from his side to be equal, to hold and to hug and to nurture. How beautiful is that? Under his arm, a man in your life that will be under his arm to be protected and next to the heart to be loved. How wonderful is that? Ever into the arguments of marriages and I was tired of this. Do you remember John Coffey in The Green Mile? He says, I'm tired, boss. I'm tired, boss. Mostly I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm most tired of it. And religions separate. Now let's turn and let's be completely frank with each other and have this personal discussion on marriages. Not to have too many wives, not to have too many girlfriends, but one. To face up the physical side of marital love. But the Bible is not afraid of this subject at all, nor is it afraid to talk about sex in the proper way. And how beautiful it is in marriages to have that in our lives. Nothing more exciting to know how it's going to feel, right? Who gave it to us? Who wouldn't want to? And it was because he wanted us to bear, to have children. If we didn't have that excitement, it wouldn't be so much to have our children, would it? And children are blessings. I mean, he always has a plan for everything. Then when you don't have any more children or anything, you still have that excitement. It brings you together. I go on about this topic all day long. But the Bible is not afraid on these subjects. In fact, Apostle Paul, he gives some clear instructions which is followed would help many a wife to win her husband to Christ. Let us read carefully what St. Paul is saying here in admonition in 1 Corinthians 7, 1 Corinthians 7, 1 to 5. And he's using Philip's translation. Now let me deal with the question raised in your letter. It is a good principle for a man to have no physical contact with women. Nevertheless, because casual liaisons are so prevalent that every man have their own wife and every woman have her own husband. Nothing more beautiful than to have a partner that cares and nurtures and loves. And I mean, you wouldn't ever want to leave your partner, would you? I mean, to grow and build upon each other and to have that understanding that his husband should give his wife what is due to her as his wife. And the wife should be as fair to her husband. It's not unequally yoked. It's not one-sided. The wife no longer has full rights over her own person, but shares them with her husband. That's called equally yoked. You're in agreement with this. Do not cheat on each other of normal sexual intercourse. As I have talked in the past, one man can't handle one woman enough to have multiple. That's all. Talk is cheap, right? You both abstain temporarily to make special opportunity by fasting and prayer, but afterwards you should resume relations as before. So if you have issues in your marriages, or if there's something come up that you cannot, Apostle Paul, I mean, he has such great wisdom. He talks about in the Bible how the Lord has spoke through him, and how the temptations of the devil and how he will deceive you, getting you to go down the wrong alley just to get that feel good at that moment. Does it mean anything to us? Anything at all? Do you realize that it may be a solution to our problem? Our body, God says, is not of our own. We think it is. We withheld it when you should have given it. Husbands and wife are one, equally yoked. The body of yours belongs to your husband, and his body belongs to you. It doesn't mean oppress. It does not mean control. It has nothing to do with it. It's love. So both have the privileges with each other and be comfortable with each other and to nurture and care. It's something very personal. Have you learned to yield? If there is love, you will. You say you're too busy, or you don't have time, or you're too old. You're too busy for love? How important love is. Too weary to express an affection. My brother's on Facebook, Harrison, and they share about marriages and how important marriages are and what separates marriage, and how expressive they are from talking from the Word of God. We being too cold to appreciate the touch of love, a love's hand, or the affection from your heart. Are you to live like two men or two women are to live like husband and wife? Or if you're in love, you will want to be with each other day and night. And not to use jealousy and pride. No longer will you be two, but you will be one. As you teach your children. Get my glasses on. I'll probably make another video. And thank you for listening. I'm very grateful and appreciate. Let no Gentile philosopher or Jewish corrupter of God's law or any other by their plausible emptiness of inside, their fallacious speeches make you think anything that drags you into any kind of crime so small or so big for an account of them. To be diligent in the word and of his knowledge and grace. God's truth as it is in Jesus, who was exposed as himself to infancy or hurt. Infamy, and given the occasion of stumbling to others. But to be diligent and be there for your partner. The Lord loves marriage. Oh, he adores it. He doesn't want us to be in a relationship that tears another one down. And children, to obey your parents in the Lord. The Christians, to teach our children. On the other hand, we look at submission of your wives, your husbands, never tyrannize over them. The passionate, the bitter against them. But by all gentle carriage, the honor of tendency, sympathy, and love, form a kind of behavior towards the soul and body. Tell me one woman who doesn't want this, who doesn't want to be treated like this. We all do. And the whole form of the only way we can get this is get his wisdom and knowledge, and to have this understanding to be equally yoked. You can be equally yoked unbelievers or equally yoked believers. You're in total agreement with each other. And through his word, you might deliver the members from the guilt, power, and pollution of sin, and justify and renew, sanctify and consecrate the services of God. Yes, having that gradual sanctified and adornment with his spirit and grace. How wonderful marriages is that we can never tear down your husband, never gossip. That's a big no-no. You have something to talk about, you go to him and talk to about it. It's very important, right? You couldn't tear your marriage.